Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining another episode of Miss Glen and Friends Read On. I'm excited to have our special guest tonight, and I'm excited for a few reasons. One, because she is my friend in real life, but two, this week starts Teacher Appreciation Week, and I specifically asked Miss Bryant-Dixon if she would start us off tonight. Because if you're at Marshall, you know that she's our Teacher of the Year this year. And with everything going on, we haven't been able to really celebrate her as I think we should have, and not the school, not the district. I'm not talking about that, but just not being there, we can't celebrate her. And so I wanted her to be our reader tonight to kick off this week's reading, but also to say thank you for being an amazing educator. Miss Bryant-Dixon and I we came in together 12 years ago now.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I was a fifth grade ELA and social studies teacher. And she used to come in and we would do lessons together. But then once I moved to fourth grade and started teaching math and science, particularly science, we would collaborate all the time on our lessons. And my students, we would always challenge them to score higher than Miss Dixon. I'm like, now she wasn't in here for the lessons, but you guys were, so you should score higher than her. But to Miss Bryant-Dixon, I really do want to say that I appreciate you for being the educator that you are. You're way more than, some people might say just an art teacher. You're just a professional all around, very brilliant. I don't know if you all know how smart Miss Bryant-Dixon is. She's really smart. It goes beyond art. And I just want to appreciate you on here. So I see Sean and Kylie and Samira. You guys have joined us. Thank you for joining. Y'all put some comments, comment on here. Let Miss Bryant-Dixon know how much you appreciate her. Tell her Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. And I think that's enough of me talking. But I do appreciate you and thank you for accepting the invite to come on and be
Thank you for having me.
our first teacher reader today. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You can give a quick introduction for anyone who may join or watch the replay and not know you, and then you can jump right into the book.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad that I'm able to start off this week. And I think you are an amazing teacher as well, Miss Glen. I've enjoyed working with you these many years. The book that I'm going to read today is The Tiny Seed. One of the reasons that I'm reading this book is because Ms. Dixon stopped just for you. I actually in my yard working, planting flowers in my yard. So I stopped to come and see you and read this book to you. And then once I finish, I'm going to have to leave quickly so I can go and finish before it gets too dark. But I also wanted to read this book, The Tiny Seed, because it is not just the book, but the artist the author who wrote this book is also the illustrator, and his name is Eric Carle. And so if you're familiar with the Very Hungry Caterpillar, that's a story that's also by him. And what Mr. Carl does to create the pictures in his book, he actually does a painting technique where he mix a lot of different colors together, and he gets a big sheet of paper. He puts the color all over the paper, adds more colors to it, and then from there, he cuts out the different shapes to create what pictures he's going to make. So whenever you see all those little splatters and everything, he made a big sheet with all these different colors on it, and that's how he created the book. So we're going to start reading the story, The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. Hold on one moment. Uh, hello?
You're on.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I'm also a mother too. Okay, so The Tiny Seed by Eric Carle. It is autumn. A strong wind is blowing. It blows flower seeds high in the air and carries them far across the land. One of the seeds is tiny, smaller than any of the others. Will it be able to keep up with the others? And where are they all going? Where do y'all think the seeds are going? That might be something that you can think about. One of the seeds flies higher than the others. Up, up, up it goes. It flies too high, and the sun's hot rays burn it up. But the tiny seed sails on with the others. Another seed lands on a tall and icy mountain. The ice never melts and the seed cannot grow. The rest of the seeds fly on, but the tiny seed does not go as fast as the others. Now they fly over the ocean. One seed falls into the water and drowns. The others sail on with the wind, but the tiny seed does not go as high as the others. One seed drifts down onto the desert. It is hot and dry, and the seed cannot grow. Now the tiny seed is flying very low, but the wind pushes it on with the others. Finally, the wind stops and the seeds fall gently down on the ground. A bird comes by and eats one seed. The tiny seed is not eaten. It is so small that the bird does not see it. Now it is winter. After their long trip, the seeds settle down. They look just as if they are going to sleep in the earth. Snow falls and covers them like a soft white blanket. A hungry mouse that also lives in the ground eats a seed for his lunch, but the tiny seed lies very still and the mouse does not see it. You can see the mouse at the bottom corner. Now it is spring. After a few months, the snow has melted. It is really spring. Birds fly by. The sun shines. The rain falls. The seeds grow so round and full they start to burst open a little. Now they are not seeds anymore. They are plants. First, they send roots down into the earth, then their little stems and leaves begin to grow up toward the sun and air. There is another plant that grows much faster than the new little plants. It is a big fat weed, and it takes all the sunlight and the rain away from one of the smaller new plants. And that little plant dies. The tiny seed hasn't begun to grow yet. It will be too late. Hurry. But finally, it too starts to grow into a plant. The warm weather also brings the children out to play. They too have been waiting for the sun and springtime. One child doesn't see the plants as he runs along And oh, he breaks one. Now it cannot grow anymore. The tiny plant that grew from the tiny seed is growing fast, but its neighbor grows even faster. Before the tiny plant has 3 leaves, the other plant has 7. And look, a bud, and now even a flower. But what is happening? First, there are footsteps, then a shadow looms over them, then a hand reaches down and breaks off the flower. A boy has picked the flower to give to a friend. It is summer. Now the tiny plant from the tiny seed is all alone. It grows on and on. It doesn't stop. The sun shines on it and the rain waters it. It has many leaves. It grows taller and taller. It is taller than the people. It is taller than the trees. It is taller than the houses. And now a flower grows on it. People come from far and near to look at this flower. It is the tallest flower they have ever seen. It is a giant flower. All summer long, the birds and bees and butterflies come visiting. They have never seen such a big and beautiful flower. Now it is autumn again. The days grow shorter, the nights grow cooler, and the wind carries yellow and red leaves past the flower. Some petals drop from the giant flower and they sail along with the bright leaves over the land and down to the ground. The wind blows harder. The flower has lost almost all of its petals. It sways and bends away from the wind, but the wind grows stronger and shakes the flower. Once more, the wind shakes the flower, and this time the flower seed pod opens. Out come many tiny seeds that quickly sail far away on the wind. The end. So I want y'all to tell me, what do you think that this story was talking about?
And I'm just gonna come just to give them some time um to type in what they think the story was really about. Tell us some about your landscaping project.
Well, Ms. Dixon went to Lowe's this morning and I bought several different types of flowers. One thing is that my dad used to be a landscape architect. So when we moved here, there needed to be some landscaping going on. And I remembered some of the different things that my dad taught me about planting. Um, and so when I went to go look for flowers, I tried to find most flowers that are called perennials, which means that they will bloom every year. You don't have to replant them. But the other types of flowers that people like to plant are annuals, which means if you've ever heard of an annual, like a yearbook or something like that, an annual plant means that it only comes once. So once you plant it and once it dies out, then it doesn't come back the next year. So I do have a mixture. It's mostly the perennials, but I do have a couple annuals in there as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Kylie responding, saying that she thinks the book was really about a flower trait.
Okay.
I want to say she's the only one. I'm not sure if the others are with us. I saw that Sean was here, Kylie was here, Samira was here. Those are the only three I saw commented. I don't know who accounts for the other numbers, but maybe some others will comment. I've been getting some comments after, as people were watching the replay, or some people would come on later to make some comments, but so to those of you who may be watching the replay, or those of you who are watching now, if you need a little time to process, or if you want to go back and listen to the story again, feel free to do that. And then once you get down to the end, share your thoughts on what you think this story was about. Thank you again, Miss Dixon, for reading with us. And I know you're ready to, well, I don't know if you're ready or not, but now it's time to go back outside and do some more landscaping work, get those hands down in the soil.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope y'all enjoyed the story. And when you go back and look at the book, think about all the different things that one little seed went through and that it still survived. And not only that, but it went through those things and it was able to produce so many more seeds. So that is one thing that you want to think about, and think about it when it comes to yourself. Even if you're having a tough time or thinking you might can't do something, think about that tiny seed that was able to still survive and produce so much more.
Awesome. Thank you so much for bringing us that book. And again, happy Teacher Appreciation Week to you.
Thank you.
I hope you get to do you're doing something fun already, but I hope you get to do some more things fun, and just that you're reminded this week of how much you're appreciated as an educator.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, take care. Have a good night. And to everyone who's watching, have a good night. And I hope to see you again tomorrow at 2:30.